What are heat zones and why are they just as important or sometimes even more important than your USDA hardiness zone? Well, heat zones generally have to deal with how hot an area a plant can tolerate. If we go ahead and take a look at this map, we can see the different heat zones by region. And essentially what a heat zone is the average number of days a year above 86. And most plants, let's just take this Apostar hydrangea for example, most plants labels do not have the heat zone that it is on. You know, they'll say the hardiness zone, but in fact, you often have to look online to see the heat zone. So just like that Popstar hydrangea I showed you, you might have to go online to actually find the heat zone. You know, scroll down to the specifications of a plant. As you can see, it says heat zone 9. So in this case, I know that in my climate, I will be able to successfully grow this plant, but this can apply to many other plants as well. You just have to kind of look for and research. The reason why heat zones are not particularly popular yet is because, well, for one, it was only released in 1997, so even though it has been a while, it hasn't really caught on like the USD hardiness zones are. Like I showed you the clip earlier, it has a heat zone of zone 9, so let's just assume you lived in a higher zone, like 10, 11, or 12, that means it wouldn't be a good idea to be planting that hydrangea in certain areas of California, Arizona, Texas, and Florida. But see, you wouldn't know this based simply on the USD hardiness zone because a lot of these areas here are zone 9. But cross-referencing it with the heat zone as well, that may be why your plants never have great success if you've been planting them in the wrong heat zone. Let's just say, even from state to state, let's just say Nebraska here. Generally, this is a zone 4, maybe zone 5, depending on where you're living in Nebraska, but the heat zone is all the way up to 7 and even 8 in some places. So if, even though it might be hardy at zone 5, maybe your plant only has a heat zone of 3 or 4, or even 5. The easiest way to look is just to go online, type in your plant or the variety of plant you are looking for, and then go ahead and try to find the heat zone. Generally, you will find your heat zone online for whatever particular plant you're looking for, but if not, be sure that you're planting varieties that are known to be heat tolerant, even if you cannot find your particular heat zone here on the map. But that's just a quick video why I think heat zones are more important than USD hardiness zones, because hardiness zones, they really only tell you the average minimum annual temperature. But basically, this takes into account also the kind of, I guess, average maximum, or the average number of days above 86 degrees, which I think is pretty hot, and I would believe your plants think it's pretty hot too. But in conjunction with this heat zone, USD hardiness zone map, whatever you've been planning on looking at, most of the country is ready for planting right now. Some have already started to plant their fruits and vegetables, but you need to check out this video now to see why all organic fertilizers are the same and how you can find the best deals.